Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Rhobin Knits podcast. My name is Rhoda. I live in Toronto, Canada with my husband Sam. It's been a while since we are here, and this is a channel where I just share everything I've been working on, things that I've finished in the last couple of weeks, and what are my knitting plans for the next 2 weeks. Over the next month, my plans are going to move on from just knitting onto some other things, but I'll probably talk about that a little later. And so if this seems like something you are interested in, something that appeals to you, then stay tuned and this is the right place for you. Before we start, I just want to talk about what I'm wearing. So this is the single malt sweater. It is designed by Maxim Cyr. He's also called as Max the Knitter. He is a neighbor, kind of. He's in Quebec. So I actually made this for my husband, which is why it is oversized. You can see the sleeves are drooping off my hands, but I wanted to wear it for this episode. Next episode, I should have something that I made for myself, and then I'll talk a little more about that. So this is what I'm wearing. This is made from Knit Picks Super Wash Swish Worsted. The gray color is Cobblestone Heather, and you could see probably some green strands. That is alpaca lace in the colorway Lydia, in the colorway Heathcliff. So it's a green colorway. It's almost black. It's a very, very deep shade of green, but he likes dark colors, so I decided to make this in those colors for him. I'll move on to things that I've completed in the last 2 weeks. I have 3 finished objects. We have 2 works in progress, and knitting plans are kind of the same as the last time, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'll move on to the things that I've finished. So the first finished object is the Wrap Me Up Sweater Scarf. So this is what it looks like. This is the sleeve. This is the rest of the scarf, and this is the second sleeve. If I have time, probably tomorrow, and when the light is a little better. We have been struggling with the light as of now. It's been a couple of weeks since we had sunlight, so we are struggling a little with the light, but if it seems okay and if it seems feasible, then when we go out tomorrow, I'll take pictures of this and then insert it over here. But this was a nice knit. Since it's just knitting in the flat, so it's knitting purling, I was able to get comfortable with purling. I also realized that I do have some I forgot what they call rowing out. When we purl and then the tension is not right. I did find out I did have that issue, but the blocking helped it, and I'm so thankful for the whole blocking process. It helped even out the stitches, so it looks right. It looks even and nice. So this is a tonal hand-dyed yarn. I used 2 skeins of this color. It is called doe skin, and then this one over here is called Nighthawk, and then this one is Merlot. They're all from the same hand dyer. Her name is Tammy. The company that she has is called The Chick That Knits, and I would suggest everyone check her out. There are few fades that she has that I really appreciate and like, but then she does have some other interesting colors as well, so feel free to check her out. So this was the Wrap Me Up Sweater Scarf. The designer is Knitattitude, and she's wonderful. There are a few other designs of hers that I've been eyeing, but probably next year, not this year, but next year, I'll probably try some of them out. So this is my first finished object. My second one is a mixture of crochet and knitting. That is this sweater. I did not use a I did not use a pattern for this sweater. I just made it up as I went. By the time I started this sweater, this was sometime middle of last year, so I would say this was around June of last year when I started the crochet part. So this is a bottom up sweater. I started from here. I started from the bottom and then I knit up. I first did the back panel and then I moved on to do the front panel. Yeah, this was knit from bottom up and then I joined it in the sides on the sleeve, and I did the crochet flat. I did the sleeves, it's crocheted flat, and then when I came to the sleeve cuff, I wanted it to be, this is first of all an acrylic yarn, so I wanted it to be a lot more softer than what the body felt like, because this would be more fitting. It would be more close to the skin, fitting in the sense like literally close to the skin. So I wanted this to feel a little softer, and when I looked at the ribbing at the end of the sweater, this was crocheted versus the knit rib. I felt the knit rib was softer, so wherever I had to do the ribbing that was closer to the body, I did knitting instead of crochet. So the ribbing on the sleeve is knit. It's just a simple 1x1 rib, and I did a tubular 1x1 tubular bind off. Then I finished the sleeve and joined it on the sides all the way to the bottom. Did the same for the second sleeve, and the collar I picked up and knit as well. Yep. So that's it about this. The yarn that was used for this is Brava. It's from Knit Picks, so it's Brava. It's 100% acrylic. It's in the color black. This color, the stripe color, is Dove Heather. Just to make it simple for me, what I did was when I did the striping, it's done in groups of 10. So it is 8 rows of the black and then 2 rows of the Dove Heather. So that way I know I've covered 10 rows, and it was easy to count for the front when I was after I finished the back. Same thing with the sleeves. It's 10 rows each. What else? Well, so this is just it's just single crochet and a chain, and when I did the row on top, I single crocheted on the single crochet and did the chain stitch, and then again single crocheted on a single crochet. This is not rocket science. It's a very, very simple sweater, but this is nice. I was happy that I was able to not follow a pattern, just use some common sense and come up with something that would fit. I did this, I used my husband's measurement, I used Sam's measurements to do this, but this is actually for someone else. The other person that I'm knitting this for has the same height and build as Sam, so it was easy to do the measurements, and I hope he gets to enjoy this. He's turning 30, so he needs all the warmth and coziness as time goes. So that is the second finished object. I have no name for it, but yes, the third one was the hat. It's again the Jason's cashmere hat. I am going to knit probably one of these each every month, again just like the penny gloves that I mentioned in the last episode. This is such a simple pattern. You do feel like you're using some technique, but it's also such a quick knit. You finish it within a day, so it's really, really fun. The one I finished again was gifted, and so Sam's is still pending, and this I got the yarn this time to show. So this is Brava. Yes, focus please. So this is Brava from Knit Picks. This is the color black, and I'll be making another Jason's cashmere hat later this month. So the hat again was a very quick one-day finish. I had some more exercise in cables. This time I turned the cables the other way, so I think the pattern says to hold the to twist. I don't know if it's the right or the left. I know it asked me to hold the stitches in the front, but I held it in the back to just see how the stitches differ. And it was nice. It just felt like I did a modification, though it wasn't very different, but then it felt nice to have something different from the other hats that I've made. The next hat I'm going to make, I'm thinking I'll take the pattern from the Darney, which is a Rebecca Clow pattern from the Cray Bear Knits, and I want to see if I can put that pattern into the Jason's cashmere hat cables and see if that's gonna make it look a little different. So that was my third finished object. Now about the works in progress, I'll talk first about my test knit. So this is the Hepatica Sweater. I'll tell you why it is the way it is. So what I did is I finished this. I finished one sleeve. Now I made a mistake, a gray one. The yarn that is suggested in the pattern is not a superwash yarn. I used a superwash yarn. The stitch that is used is garter, and I've never done garter before. Then I just did it in one of my mom's shawls, but it was acrylic yarn, and acrylic yarn does not really stretch, but this in superwash stretched. So when I finished the first sleeve, I had a feeling it might be a little long, and I wanted to block it before I did the second sleeve and finish the rest of the body of the sweater. This is how it looks. It's a very pretty sweater. It's very I can't say it's intuitive because it's just stripes, it's just knit purl, so it's not a big deal that way, but it's really addictive. That's what I wanted to say. It's really addictive because the stitch patterns are simple and you get to change colors every 2 rows, which is so much fun. You get to plan the colors and see how it changes. I'm just putting a picture of what my palette looks like. So this was a fun knit. But after blocking, I figured that the sleeve is too long. It's too long in the sense it's twice as long, and I didn't anticipate it. I knew it was long, but I didn't anticipate it to be twice as long. So what I'm going to have to do is at least rip back up to 10 stripes. The whole sleeve has about 18 stripes. I'm going to rip back at least 10 stripes. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to here. And only this much of the sleeve is going to be left. The good news is that when I make the next sleeve, it's going to be really quick, and I know I'm going to finish this sweater in maybe the next 5 days. This should be done. What I also like is when I started the sweater and I was doing the garter, it felt very, very thick, but now that I blocked it, it feels like a very nice wearable piece. It's a very good layering piece. I know I can wear it into spring. I know I can also, this is going to be my fall sweater actually. I know I'm going to bring this out in fall, and so I know this is going to be a very fun, very enjoyable sweater, and I'm glad it's not so thick where I cannot layer it under jackets or I might feel overheated very soon. So I'm glad I made a choice with the superwash merino. I chose the superwash merino because once it's stretched out, the fabric is really, really pleasant. Yeah, so that's the update on my Hepatica sweater. The test knit is due by the end of this month, but I should be done by the 15th, which is Monday, 15th or 16th at the latest. I should be done with that sweater and I can move on to my next project. I am excited about giving updates about this sweater to the designer. The designer is Emma. She has a very nice Instagram profile. I'm gonna link it down in the description below. Please check her out if you can. And she also makes very pretty jewelry. It's handmade jewelry and stitch markers. I haven't had a chance to get my hands on one of them, but I do intend to do that sometime this year. So if you want to check her out, please check her out on Instagram. The second sweater is my Eun Sweater. I've been keeping it in my project bags. This is the project bag that I'm using, and this is my Eun Sweater. This is by November Knits, and I cast it on. This was done in a day. This is done on very large needles. So I'm trying to figure yeah, this is the back. This is done on very large needles, so it is a very, very quick knit. What I decided to do is, well, I have to talk a little about the design, the pattern before. The pattern has about 25 to 30 centimeters of positive ease. Now I am a little on, or what I would consider myself to be, I'm a little on the larger side, and I do not want to wear something with that much positive ease. Now this, even though it has some positive ease, is pleasant because it's just very flowy fabric and it's nice, but this is not. So I decided to go up a needle size. I decided to go up, the needle size that's recommended is 5 millimeters. I decided to go to 5.5 but knit a size smaller. I also met gauge that way, but I'm knitting the size 3. The usual size I knit for myself is size 4. I'm going to knit size 3, and I'm going to try it on. I'm going to block it in between. After finishing the raglan part, I'm going to block it, try it on, see how it feels. I want to see how the fabric, what the fabric looks like, and then based on that take a call of whether I want to look at a size between 3 and 4 or just stick to 3. So I'm eyeballing it as I go. The neck is supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to fold the neck and stitch it down. I'll probably do that later because I also want to slip some elastic into it. But overall, I am enjoying this process. It's one of the reasons I really wanted to cast it on, and I casted it on in a hurry, was that I wanted something mindless to knit. I'm sorry about the sound of the wind. I hope it does not bother you too much. It is a pretty windy, cold day. Well, where was I? Yeah, I just wanted something mindless. This is going to be a travel knit. This is going to be a meeting knit. And so I wanted something really mindless, something I wouldn't think too much about, and I could just carry it around with me. I feel like I've got an upgrade on one of my skills. Now what I used to do with most of these sweaters is that when I started the sweater, I used to have an Excel sheet, and I used to keep tracking my progress on the Excel sheet because I wouldn't know how much progress I've made on the raglan. But now I've learned how to count the raglan stitches, and so it means I don't have to look at a device. If I'm traveling and I'm knitting on this, I know I don't have to look at a device to know where I am. I could probably just count the raglan stitches, the increases, and I'll know where I am. And I feel that is a good thing, just because sometimes you get motion sickness when you look at your phone, when you're on the bus or the transit, and it's just nice to keep knitting. You sometimes don't have to look at this because it's just knitting in the round. You don't really have to look at the project, but you can go on and knit without thinking too much about it. So this has been really good. The yarn that I used for this is Pearl Soho's Hedgerow. It's got some cashmere, it's got some silk. I think both of them put together come to about 7%, and the rest is just merino. It is not superwash merino. This is a new kind of yarn because I'm usually using superwash merino. So this is new, and I know this is for me, so I know I'll take more care in washing and just storing the sweater, keeping it safe, things like that. So I've confidently started working on this for me. So this is the Eun Sweater, and I've been enjoying it quite a lot. It's a pretty oversized sweater. I'm going to still make a lot more changes, especially when it comes to the splits on the side. The design spotlight of this sweater is that it has very high splits, and then it's ribbing front and back. It's got very long ribbing. I'll put a picture of it over here, and that is the spotlight of this. But I'm going to change it a little because I'm not sure I'll be very comfortable with a high split, so I'm going to move it a little lower and still have oversized longer sweater, so I could just wear it with my leggings and not be afraid of flashing myself. So that is the Eun sweater. Now I do have knitting plans. Of course I have knitting plans. So the first knitting plan that I was talking about was the Jason's cashmere hat. Like I was saying, I'm going to be using the Knit Picks Brava Black, and that is going to be a sweater for Sam. It should be done within the next couple of days again, so he can start wearing it for winter. I've talked about this hat, I think, every single episode so far, so I'm not going to talk much more about it. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll insert a picture so you can have a look at it. This is one of the hats that I made, so I'll insert a picture of that. I still haven't cast on for the Audrey Cardigan or the Aosta sweater. I intend to do that again sometime in the next 2 weeks. I want to be able to finish at least one of my projects. So I want to finish the Hepatica sweater first completely before casting on another project. Having too many projects on the go is a little overwhelming for me, so I want to finish the Hepatica test knit completely, give an update to the designer, and then move on to casting on my next. I know it's a baby knit, it's gonna go fast, but I still want to have I want to clear my needles first before adding another project to my list. If you also remember the Tolsta that I was talking about, which I made with Knit Picks Elliot Hawthorne sock, and I held it along with Knitting for Olive Dusty Sea Green Merino. I had knitted too cropped. I did not like the sleeve length, it was too short, and my arms are bulky. I do not want it stopping at an awkward point where it actually magnifies the bulkiness of my arm. So I'm going to also look at going back and fixing that sweater. I want to have it fixed before spring so I can wear it on jeans, and I want to have garments that I actually wear. So I want to make that a priority, go back, fix that, and then I'll work on my next project after that. So those are my knitting plans for the next 2 weeks. I do have some acquisitions, but if you want to leave and don't want to stay for the acquisition part, thank you so much for sticking with me this far, and I'll see you in the next episode. And for those who want to still look at the acquisition part, it's not much. I just got a sweater quantity of 2 yarns. Oops, I'll put that later. So sweater quantity of 2 yarns. This is Knit Picks Good Wool. This is in the color Teal Abyss. Actually, with the dim lighting, it's picking the color really well. The color did not blow out at all. I'm surprised. So this is Teal Abyss, and this is the same thing. It's Good Wool, but it is in the colorway Undyed. These two, so I have sweater quantity of this and 2 skeins of this because this is going to be the contrast color. These two are going to go into the Care sweater by Rebecca Clow, and this is going to be the yearly sweater for Sam. So that is my last acquisition for this year. I don't see any acquisitions coming up anytime soon. I think my next bunch of acquisitions would only be in October, when Knit Picks, October or November, when Knit Picks would have a sale, and yeah, I'll wait until then and only then purchase yarns if required. So those are my only 2 acquisitions. Well, thank you if you stayed this long and listened to me talk. I'm glad you're part of the journey of all of these patterns and sweaters that I spoke of. What is happening otherwise? I am going to go to a knit night for the first time. It's at Eun Knits Toronto. It's gonna be on Saturday, so I'm excited about doing that. I am thinking of what I should cast on. I'm thinking of either taking my own sweater or casting on a baby Eosta sweater. But again, I'm hesitant to cast on before I finish the Hepatica, and I know I'm not going to finish the Hepatica before I go, so probably it's going to be the Eun or the Jason's cashmere hat. Either one of those is what I'm going to take there to just sit and knit with everyone. I'm a little nervous about meeting people, but it's also one of my goals this year to make new knitting friends, so I am looking forward to it. I'll keep you updated about how the whole knit night went. If I had any issues communicating with people, or this is also going to be my first time going to a yarn store. The only other yarn store I've gone is Michael's, and Michael's is not a yarn store, it's like a craft store, so you have so much, and then there's a yarn corner, but the yarns over there are also very familiar. It's Loops and Threads, or Karen, or Lion Brand, but the yarns at Units is something I am looking forward to touch and feel, and these are yarns I've only heard about, I've never seen in person, so I'm really excited about going to Units. And I'll give you an update. I'll see if I can take pictures or a video if I go there. I'll give an update next time, but until then, I hope you all are safe, warm, and having something cozy to knit with, and just enjoying the winter. So happy knitting, everybody, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.